first-class Las Vegas resort. Did you know our 400-seat showroom is one of Las Vegas's top destinations for live entertainment? Enjoy live performances by classic Vegas entertainers, bands, and today's hottest comedians, plus a rockin' dance floor. You can also enjoy live entertainment at the Grand View Lounge, where you'll feel all the vibes of old Las Vegas. Enjoy the music, and if you love to laugh, don't miss The Dirty at 12:30, our very own free comedy show, every Friday night at 12:30 a.m. in the Grand View Lounge. The Dirty is 100% free, so arrive early. Go to southpointcasino.com or call the box office at 77136 for today's performances at the showroom and the Grand View Lounge. When you're ready for your favorite cocktail, stop in and unwind at one of our 7 specialty lounges. There's a bar around every corner, because you're in Vegas, baby. South Point Casino has plenty of attractions for the whole family. Catch a movie. Our 16-screen movie theater includes 2 XD Extreme screens for the ultimate in viewing, sound, and luxury. After the show, treat the family to a variety of treats at our old-fashioned ice cream parlor, Kate's Corner. We scoop up a variety of creamy concoctions, including smoothies, hand-dipped cones, milkshakes, malts, sodas, and sundaes. At Kate's, there's something for everyone. And if you've still got time to spare, our bowling center might be right up your alley. Voted Best of Las Vegas, it's a great place for friends and family fun. 64 lanes, a pro shop, snack bar, and arcade. And while the kids are bowling, you can play slots and sip on a drink in the Alley Cat Lounge while overlooking the lanes. For our more serious and professional bowlers, the South Point is also home to a separate tournament bowling plaza.
Here we go. Welcome in, everybody. Round of 32. 16 more teams trying to survive and advance in the NCAA tournament. I'm Alex White. This is Sports by the Book. As always, we are live from the South Point Hotel and Casino. 2 games about to kick off, one in the NCAA tournament and one in the NIT, I believe. Or where are we going with that one? CBI. But as I mentioned, I'm Alex White alongside Kenny White today, who is remote from home. We'll have all the numbers for you. We're going to get through a lot of college basketball. Maybe at the end, we will try to get to a little bit of hockey, but it is March Madness, so we will be focused on some college hoops. Let's start with the game that is going to kick off here in a few minutes with UConn and Florida. That number's jumping all over the place. It was 9 earlier today. I did lay the points with the Gators. Now I'm seeing 9.5, and the total's been bouncing everywhere. Looking here at the South Point, though, of course, using their numbers 9 and 151. Dad, good morning. Did you jump on anything for this game?
Hey, good morning, Alex. Hold on one second. I'm just sending out a text. A couple more bets going in. Yeah, I did. Well, the one thing, we've been very successful in the NIT so far, talking about these games that these are more fun tournaments for the kids to go out and play. And I think the coaches are less stringent on what they do until maybe the second half of games if they get close, and then they start to play more to their identity. Looking at CBI scores for the last couple of years, the average score in the first round is about 7 to 8 points higher than the regular season scores. And then as you get deeper in the tournament, that number starts to shorten up. Second round, it's like 5.5, 6 points. The semifinal game is like 2 or 3 points, and the final game is right about average. So I did bet the game over. Both of these teams are far better offensively than they are on the defensive end.
Hold on 1 second. I did throw you off a little bit. I started with UConn and Florida. So moving ahead to the CBI, is it Incarnate Word and Manhattan? This is the total that you like over.
Yeah. Sorry about that. I was doing something and not listening. And the last thing I remember you telling me before we came on was asking about this Manhattan Incarnate Word game. So, yeah, both teams played slow during the regular season. But again, I think in these games they speed up and start to play more. Florida, Connecticut should be a great offensive game. These two teams are really good offensively, both far better offensively than they are on the defensive end. It's just, I guess, how much Connecticut wants to run with Florida. The Gators are going to try to get out on every opportunity. And if Connecticut runs back, this could be a high-scoring game. This is another game that I did not bet, but I will wait to see if they get off to a slow start scoring-wise, because I know it will pick up sooner or later, and I'll go over a much lower number.
With the adjustments from the first game, I have Florida 11 here. I think you're a little bit closer to the market with Florida as a 9-point favorite. Do you think we're giving a little bit too much credit to the Huskies here and their pedigree and winning 2 back-to-back, or you think this number is just right?
I think it's just right. Connecticut is still a very solid team, and the one thing that they have going for them is they know they're 2-time champions. Now, maybe that puts a target on their back, but they have a lot of pride, and they are well coached. They just never put it together for the entire season this year, and they've never really peaked. What if they started to peak right now and they beat Florida today, and then they won their next 2 games? My power rating is going to skyrocket them up into the Alabama range. So you never know. I don't have a play on the game, but if you told me I had to make a bet, I'd probably side with Connecticut.
I just like the fact that Florida's 25-9 ATS. I still don't think the market is quite high enough on this Gator team, but we'll find out. This will be a very tough challenge for them today against Dan Hurley's team here. So let's go back one game to Baylor and Duke. 857 is the rotation number for this one. At the South Point, Duke 12.5 and the total 146. Now, coaching again, Scott Drew, very good coach here, but we know that Baylor really hasn't been able to put it together. Is this the right number? Where'd you make this side end total?
Yeah, Duke has been a great team all year, and now they're my highest rated team. They're healthy. They're playing in Raleigh, North Carolina. It's going to be an all Duke crowd. I like what I've seen out of Baylor as of late. Winning, they've won 4 of their last 6. The only 2 losses are to Houston by 4 and Texas Tech by 2. They have competed against some of the best teams in the country, and I think what's helped them more than anything is Jeremy Roach and Langston Love healthy and more in the lineup, and this team starting to gel a little bit and play together. So that helps them. But I tell you, they're running into the best team in the country, playing in North Carolina. I hope it's all Tar Heels in this one. I bet the Dukies, and I'll be rooting. I'm a big Dookie fan today.
Total moved up. Last night I was looking at the number at 144, and now I'm seeing 146. Can we jump in on the over here? I made this game a lot lower, but I am a little concerned. Baylor's number in that first game against Mississippi State, that moved up from 142.5 to 148. Final was 147, so the market was correct on that move. And then Duke put 93 on Mount St. Mary, so of course they are the number 3 offense and number 4 defense in efficiency, and do like to slow it down a little bit. So curious where you are with this total.
I made it 140. I bet the game under, and it's Duke is a superior defensive team. Cooper Flagg, what a great player, almost maybe a once in a lifetime talent that I don't know if I've ever seen the best player in the country be the best defensive player in the country. And that helps when your best player is your hardest worker and your best defensive player. That just helps the coach. Everybody else is going to jump in line, and they're going to be that great of a defensive player as well, or the best they can be. So Baylor is not going to run. Baylor's going to try to shorten this game, and they're going to try to stay in it, stay close to give themselves a chance to win. So I think it'll be possessions, about 65 possessions, and Duke's defense is going to shut Baylor down. It's going to make them tough for them to score. So I did go under.
Okay, I like that a lot. I did star that to take the under in that game, so I will. Just checking in with the chat really quick. Attila, we've got Flo in here. Good morning, everybody. Moses, Vicarious Vegas, and Denman. Good morning, everyone. So I will have my chat up. If you have any questions for us, please put them in here. Now, we do have one comment that says, no madness, just chalk. Is this, we've been talking about it for the last week with the NIL. Has it kind of ruined our March Madness and our tournament here?
It really has. The The rich have gotten richer in college in the college sports world because of nil. It's basically they've got the bigger payroll to be able to pay kids more to come play for them. So not only are they getting the top 3, 4, 5 stars in college basketball, now you're getting the guys off the bench and you're paying them more than other schools can pay them. So we have seen that. I have the highest ratings I've ever had. I've got Duke right now at a 140.5. It's the highest rating I've ever had of any college basketball team ever for me doing this. And Florida's a 138.5. They're higher than any college basketball team I've ever rated.
It'll be very interesting to see what happens next weekend with the Sweet 16 to see if some of those 8 through 16 can hang around, and that's where we'll see the upset. So we'll see how these rosters really are. Now let's go to the next game on the board. We've got Alabama 5.5 over St. Mary's and the total 149.5. I think you're with me on this one. Crimson Tide, that number's pretty short here. I know St. Mary's top defense in the country, but they really struggled 2 days ago in their first round. So are you laying the points here with Bama?
Yes, I am. Nate Oates' team is one of the best offenses in the entire country, and that's St. Mary's is very good defensively, but they've never seen an offense this good. They faced the Zags. The Zags are not even near what Bama can do offensively. Now Grant Nelson returned. He returned in game 1 of this tournament against Mount St. Mary's, which was a shock, or against Robert Morris. It was very shocking that he returned for that game because all of the news that I read is that Nelson would not return until the second game of the tournament. But he came back in game 1. That's a big boost to this Bama team, and they've played such a great schedule all year round. St. Mary's has been a great story, but I think it's the end of that story here against the Crimson Tide.
So Bama minus 5.5 for us. Both of us have this number a lot higher than that one, probably the biggest difference that we have worked out yesterday. So I'm going to ride that because Texas Tech was a pretty big difference for us as well, and that worked out in that one. Let's move on to our first Mountain West team here going up against Mr. March himself. We've got Michigan State and New Mexico. So 2 Mountain West teams did find their way and made it to the second round here. Sparty, though, 7-point favorite, the total 148. Anything in this one?
Yeah, well, I think both, Richard Pitino's done a very nice job with New Mexico in his 4th year here. Has built a really good program. He's got a really good guard in Donovan Dent, but he's up against it. Michigan State is so good, both offensively and defensively. They've played a tremendous schedule. They've been a spread cover machine all year. And Tom Izzo, as you said, Mr. March, he's, Mr. Sweet 16. He gets his team deep into tournaments because he knows what he's doing. He gets his teams to peak at the right time. I think you continue to see them get better. I looked at this game and thought, wow, look at the defenses. Both these defenses are far better than the offenses. I didn't have that big of a difference. I still bet it under. And I'm going to look to wait to see if these teams start fast and put up a lot of points. And I can go under a number like 155 in that range because, Tom Izzo will push the pace a little bit. But when it comes down to it, he's going to slow this thing down with a lead late in the game, kind of a Bill Belichick style of, pass early to get the lead and then run late to run the clock out. And that's what Izzo's going to do. He'll try to push the pace early to get the lead. And then when they get the lead, then he's going to put they're going to run through their offense and they're going to run clock and they're going to shorten the game. And it's going to go under because they're going to frustrate New Mexico State, who wants to play at a breakneck pace. Izzo's not going to let them play like that. There's no way he's going to let them play like that. He wants to make them uncomfortable, and to make New Mexico uncomfortable, you got to put them in a half-court offense.
That's right. New Mexico's 6th quickest pace right now in the country. But you're right, we did even see some Mountain West teams really try and slow them down, and they did have success. I mean, I'm looking at a 67 possession here with UNLV and New Mexico 75-73. So I think that with that defense from Michigan State, they will be able to do that. You don't like the first half under, right? It is 69.5. You'd rather have that second half too?
Yeah, because Michigan State may run with them early. So that there could be some possessions. But when it comes down to it and this game becomes meaningful, both these defenses are just so good. I think points will be at a premium in the second half. I think it'll be a much better second half under. I bet the game under, like I said, but if they start out quick and I can go under 155 or more, I'll do that. And then I'll try to make a couple other plays under it, maybe at halftime and in the second half.
In game, looking for a number at 155 or higher that we can jump in on the under. I want to backtrack a little bit. I forgot about one of the best bets during March Madness, and that's the 1st to 15 here. So I'll start off with that game we were just talking about, New Mexico, Michigan State. Plus 175 on the Lobos. Is that enough?
I don't have there's math on this, and you can go back and take every 7-point favorite and go back and look at the 1st to 15, and it will tell you that, that they're going to get there 3 out of 4 times, or 2 out of 3 times. They're going to get to 15 first. So I don't have that math, and I think it's all math, and I think those markets are extremely difficult to beat. Other than if you compare your numbers to the market, like in Alabama. But then again, I will say this: the dogs have a greater chance of the first to 15 than they do at the end of the game, because once they start to lose confidence, they start to get blown out. So they've got more confidence at the beginning of a game, and they've got that ability to hang around and stay in the game early. So yeah, I would think that the better bet may be those dogs. But again, I think the math will show that that's probably the right number.
Yeah, I think that number is just right. I mean, with New Mexico wanting to run, though, you may have a shot there, and they are pretty good offensively as well. So we'll keep an eye on that. So there's the first games that we have gone through here with UConn, Florida, Baylor, Duke, and then, as you mentioned, Alabama and St. Mary's. I think St. Mary's defense would really have to try and slow down Alabama there to get you there for the 1st to 15. But we saw them come out very slow against Vandy the other day, so that would not be my first pick right there with that dog. Couple more games. We're going to move on here. Iowa State found a way. They got the win without Gilbert, but now they've got a little bit of a tougher competition here. So the Cyclones are 5.5, and the total is 145. I saw 146 yesterday. I jumped in on that under. Is this number still good here, or do you like something with the side better?
No, I like the total because both these defenses are so good, and they're not going to allow this to be a track meet. They'll get back in transition, and they're going to force teams into a little later in the shot clock. Both have trended to the under during the season, and Iowa State 11-6 under on the road games. I'll mention the game before that. I didn't mention it, but I'll mention it now. New Mexico 9-2 under in their road games. Michigan State 11-4 under in their road games. That's why I bet that game under, because both teams were far better over teams at home than they were on the road. So I kind of expect that to be close and low scoring. I expect this one to be the same way. Without Gilbert, this is going to be a little tougher spot for Iowa State, but I still have them 6.5. It's right on the number. Again, I did bet the game under, but this will be another one that I look for if they do get off to a fast pace and this total goes up. I'm going to go under here as well in game.
Ole Miss, good win over North Carolina, 71-64 to get to this spot against Iowa State. Definitely have to check and see how the Cyclones look without Gilbert here stepping up in competition. But yes, I like the under too. That is definitely a play for me in this one. So just quick little update here. Florida up on the Huskies 6-3 with about 15 left to go in that first half. So very slow, low scoring game here in this first one. I think we are going to start to see these numbers drop a little bit and more unders come in with how meaningful these games are.
So the in game now on that's 140. Yeah, that's 140 on that game. I let me look at that. Florida does play great defense, but both these are far better offensive teams. I'm going to go over the 140.5. We're 10. We just started the game, and we're 10 points off of the closing total.
I will jump in there as well. So going over 140 in game here between UConn and Florida. And then we will get to those next games. I'm not as quick as you doing in-game while we're on a show, but okay, here we go.
Well, we
Let's
can go
go
right to the Illini and Connecticut or Kentucky next.
I'm excited to hear what you have to say about this one. I'm a little surprised with the favorite flip, and I know it's just 1.5 point, but Kentucky was the favorite, opened up as a 1 point favorite, and now it has been all Illinois money here. So what is your number? What is your thought on this close matchup between these two?
Yeah, I think it is going to be a very close matchup. I made the Illini 1. And as you mentioned, there has been some money for them. Twos, I do see 2.5s. The totals come down. They played that big total down now from 170 to 167.5. I made it 170.5. This is going to be an up-tempo game with two teams that are great offensive teams. They know how to score. And I think the biggest key is their defenses also pressure. They play with pressure. So that forces teams fast to shoot. So these two teams, they can get back in transition, but they want to pressure and create steals and turnovers. So both teams are going to create turnovers and easy layups. And I don't see that stopping the entire game. I hope it gets off to a slow start like this Florida game did, 6-3, because if I can go over 160 or less, I am. My number's 170, but I think there's going to be 85 possessions a piece in this game. And I think this game could be both teams could get into the 90s because that's the way they play. They play fast and furious.
Is there any value? I know that you're looking more for an in-game to go over, but the first half I did see an 80.5. And if it does start out slow, like this Florida game, is there any value there, or only looking for in-game, trying to find a better over number like you did with Florida?
Well, if it starts out fast, you'll hit the over 80.5. But I feel like when you're going under, I like to go under first halves. When you're going over, there's no advantage to going over in the first half because you don't get overtime and you don't get the fouls at the end of the game. So this is a game 20 points can be scored in the last 2 minutes. So I don't trust the total in the first half. I just hope it gets off to a slow start so I can go over a better number here. And I am going to look to go over. And if they get 80 in the first half, I'll probably bet the game over in the second half because I think they could score 100 easily. The pace is going to be crazy. And it's going to be that way the entire game. These two are if it ends up being a 1 point game with 2 minutes to go and it goes back and forth, it could go under at that point. That's the only situation that's going to slow down is if it's a 1 point game with 2 or 3 minutes to go and it gets really tight and then they have to both slow down and then play in an offense they're not used to playing in, running clock.
Should be an interesting one here. And looking at some of Kentucky's previous games with teams that do like to run, we had 102-97 against Bama, 96-83 against Bama, and Florida 106-100. So we'll see how that one goes. But yeah, so staying away from any type of unders in that one. I am curious, do we have the 1 to 15 between these two with Illinois and Kentucky? Either probably pretty much about a pick 'em between those two there.
Well, the Illini should be a slight favorite. They should be probably $1.40 or something, plus a dime on Kentucky. I'm sure in that range.
Here we go.
I would think. 1 to 15.
Yeah, minus 115 and minus 105.
Yeah, so I don't think there's any value either way. Maybe I'm the Illini because they are the better team. This is up to 2.5. I don't know. It's going to be close. There should be another prop. How fast will it take the team to get to 15 points?
Checking in with the chat.
Under or over 3.5 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
I guess it'd be a little higher than that. So 4 minutes, 15 points, team possessions, probably 7 minutes. The 7 minute mark. Or with 13 minutes to go, 7 minutes, 7.5 minutes into the game, I guess somebody's going to hit 15 points.
So you really do think Illinois is the better team here?
Well, I have them one. I don't really have much better. I worry about you know, Kentucky's been playing without Jackson Robinson for a while. If they had him in, that would be a big plus for them.
That has been the Cats' problem all year, right? We have seen Butler. We've seen so many guys in and out of their lineup. So I kind of trust Mark Pope's team a little bit better. Even though Brad Underwood is a very good coach here, they might be getting hot at the right time.
Yeah, they were hoping to get Kirk Carissa back, who started the season and then went down with an injury. And you're right, Lamont Butler has been in and out of a couple games. You know, he hasn't been healthy all year long, so that doesn't help the cause for Kentucky, where the Illini, I feel, have been a little bit more of a healthy team and a little bit more continuity on the season. So we'll see. It's just going to be a fun game to watch because you go back and look. There's the Illini versus Iowa, 109-94 on a neutral, 200 points. Kentucky's faster and better offensively than Iowa is.
Yes.
So it's just going to be a very high-scoring game against Duke, 110-67. You know, they only got 67 points against Duke on a neutral. They give up 110. It's just going to be back and forth. It's going to be a fun game to watch. That'll be March Madness, even though it's not an upset or anything like that. But that game will be madness.
I think so far Arkansas and St. John's was definitely the best game that we've had thus far. This is turning out to be a pretty good game here with just 12 minutes left in the first half. We've got 11-8, so the Huskies are definitely hanging around with one of the top teams in the country right now in the Florida Gators. Let's go to Seattle. I'm excited to talk about these games as well. We'll get to one that you called the other day that definitely worked out for you here. But first, we've got Maryland, favored over Colorado State. Colorado State, 11 in a row now, wins for this Rams team. They've been playing very good basketball. But we've got Maryland, 8-point favorite, total 144. This will definitely be the toughest challenge for this Rams team. Is this enough points to jump in here on this dog?
You know, if you want to bet a first to 15 on a dog, this is probably the one to do. As you mentioned, 11-game winning streak, one of the best players in the country in Nick Clifford. This guy can do it all. He is a for surefire NBA first-round draft pick, and he's got other guys around him that are good basketball players. So this team is a solid team. They're well coached. Maryland has been great all year. This is one of the better years this basketball team has had. And I think overall they probably have a little more talent than Colorado State does. I made Maryland 6.5 and was looking to try to take Colorado State in this game. I think the way to take them is in the first 15. I think they get out early.
Plus 180 is the price here at the South Point for the first to 15, which you make a great point. I mean, with that 11-game win streak, you know that this team is going to come out hot. So I think that's a great first to 15 bet there. Nothing on the total, right? 144?
I went under. I made it 138.5. This Maryland team's got a great defense. But again, I think early they may not play that defense. Both force teams late into the shot clock off from the defensive end. So I went under. I think it's a little overinflated. And another game that if they start hot and start fast and put a lot of points up, because Maryland comes out a little flat, which is surprising a team could do that. But Kevin Willard's dad was a head coach, and his teams never played well as a favorite. They always played great as an underdog for some reason. So they would come out flat when he thought they were going to win. He wasn't a guy that tried to motivate them. He wanted them to motivate themselves. And it's hard for 18, 19, 20-year-olds to motivate themselves when they think they're the better team. So that's why I like Colorado State early in this game. And then late, it's going to get tight. The game's going to get close, and it's going to slow down to a crawl, I think.
Of course, Maryland did. It started a little slow, but then they really just broke away against Grand Canyon. 81-49 was that final there. Two really good bigs with Queen and Reese. We've been talking about them a lot, so they definitely have the size, but Colorado State does as well. So I think they will be okay to start off this game at least. I do like the under as well. This is the best defense that Colorado State will have seen all year long. They did beat SDSU, who's very good defensively as well, but not like this Maryland offense. And then they lost to New Mexico twice, who was the next best defense. So the Rams definitely stepping up in class today with this one. One more in Seattle. I know you like this one because I was all over Liberty. They can shoot. I thought they had a chance to hang around with Oregon, but this game is in Seattle. The last game was in Seattle, and it was all Oregon. They really they held Liberty at the 3-point line to one of their lowest percentages of the year. So we've got Arizona Wildcats, though. They are the favorite, 3.5, and they've got the Ducks coming in here. 152.5 is the total. This is going to be a good one. I mean, if Caleb Love can keep playing the way that he has been, I think the Cats will be okay here, but Oregon and Dana Altman, they aren't going to just lay down easy. They're definitely going to put up a fight.
Yeah, no doubt. And I was hoping, it's hard to use revenge factor in these games because they're such big games. So I don't use it. But I was hoping that Oregon had the revenge and got blown out by Arizona the last time they played. The last year of the Pac-12, Arizona won both regular season games, but Oregon got their revenge in the conference tournament, 67-50. It was 67-59, 67-59, 126 points. These two teams know each other very, very well. They do both want to play fast, and they both are very, very good offensive teams. But I got a feeling this one's going to be very tight late. This is another one. If they score a lot early, I'm going to go under in game and the second half. Because they know each other, I think it's going to be a war between these two. And I did take Oregon. I took the points. I took 4 with them because they are playing in Seattle. It will be an all Oregon crowd. It is going to be green. It's going to be Nike everywhere. And there'll be very little red in the building. So it's going to be, there is a home advantage there for the Ducks, and they use that home advantage in game 1 against Liberty in a blowout. They'll use it again here.
I do like that under. I was looking at the 153 yesterday, so it is moving in that direction, but you're right, they do know each other, and I did find that interesting. Oregon won the conference tournament last year to get into the big dance. They did win one game last year as well, but we'll see. Big step up here, and really just depends on how the Wildcats show up in this one, but they are a very talented team, so are the rightful favorite. Looking at that 1 to 15, Oregon is plus 110, which Liberty did not stand a chance in the last game. Curious if you think there's any value on that play.
I would have liked to have gotten a lot higher. I mean, look at the money line for the game. It's plus 145. So I guess if you're looking at the 1 to 15, it's, probably just about right. I mean, that's the formula that you're going to be able to take. You take the game price and divide it by 4 probably, and you end up getting plus 111, and that's, where they're at right now. So you have to have scenarios where you have coaches that you can't trust having their team ready and fired up. Tommy Lloyd's going to have his guys fired up, and Dana Altman's going to have his guys fired up. So it's pretty much a pick 'em, I think, toss-up between who gets there. And Arizona is supposed to get there. They're supposed to be up 15-14 at that point. That's how close it's going to be.
Checking in with the chat one more time, and then we'll take a quick 2-minute break. When we come back, we'll jump in with the NIT and the CBI college basketball as well, and we will recap all of those best bets that we did like for the NCAA tournament. But Nick Sansone is in there. Christopher and Minidar says hello to the Whites. So hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Again, if you have any questions, please put them in the chat so we can get to them. But on the other side, NIT and CBI. We'll be right back.
Once you've satisfied your hunger, get ready for more of the hottest casino games in Vegas. Our 24-hour, 30-table non-smoking poker room proudly hosts all the most popular poker games with a variety of betting limits. Visit the poker room for a schedule of daily tournaments, Whether you're going to hold 'em or fold 'em, the best place for poker is at South Point Casino. You'll notice that our craps tables are usually the loudest in the casino. If you've never played, join one of our free craps lessons to find out what makes this game so exciting. Check with the craps dealer for schedules and give it a roll. Bingo is also an exciting way to spend your time. We offer 7 sessions of bingo every day. And each session includes a cash ball jackpot, 12 bingo games, a progressive double action game, and a $10,000 bonus coverall. Electronic units are available. If you haven't played bingo with us, give it a try today. Guests can also get in on the action at our one-of-a-kind race and sports books, 2 separate rooms designed to maximize your experience and comfort. Our sports book, with over 400 seats, puts you right in the middle of the action, 24 hours a day. The friendly ticket writers are happy to help, and it's conveniently located next to the famous Del Mar Deli, where you'll find supersized portions of delicious deli items like roast beef, pastrami, and Reuben sandwiches, or soups, salads, and pizza, plus spectacular desserts fit for a king. And right next door is the race book, over 150 seats, each with its own TV screen. There are 16 interactive player terminals, so you can bet right from your seat.
Welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. Sports by the Book, live from the South Point Hotel and Casino. Please come see us here at the South Point. We've been here for the last 3 days. The best party in Las Vegas. Over 2,000 people upstairs in the exhibition hall. It was a lot of fun. Now, still a lot of people throughout the casino. The sports book is packed, and there are plenty of places to watch the games today. We've got a good game here. Florida 16 and UConn 13. 10 minutes to go in that first half. So very tight game so far, low scoring. Big one here between these two. We'll keep you updated on that. We're going to go to the NIT games and then the CBI. Just checking in one more time with the chat. Looks like we are good. Sean does have a poll coming shortly, so please give us your response and what you think is the best upset for the day. Who you are looking out at, who you think can get a win here today. Let's go to the NIT. Curious what we have. Let's start with the Mustangs here. SMU 9.5 against Oklahoma State. Total 156.5. I know we've been playing a lot of overs with the NIT. Coaches kind of just letting their guys have fun and play ball here. What do we have in this game?
Yeah, another over for me, Alex. You're right. When these coaches, we've seen the slowdown teams play faster. Now you have 2 teams that run wild in Oklahoma State and SMU. Both teams, SMU averages 80 a game. I think this is one of those contests that could be last team that scores wins the game. Well, I guess SMU is the better team, but I think it's going to be a little closer than what the line indicates. So I made it 164.5, and I think that's conservative. I think this game could come 170. So love this game over.
Love the game over. Lean to the dog a little bit here at 9.5. If you could get 10, would you be jumping in?
Yeah, probably. I might even jump in at 9.5. Just the fact that it's an Oklahoma State team that's played really good competition all year long. Both head coaches are new, but they've let their guys go up and down. And I feel like in high scoring games, the underdog has a little bit more of an advantage because it's not a defensive game; it's an offensive game. And Oklahoma State has struggled a little bit offensively this year, but I think they've gotten better as the year goes along. And I think they'll do well against SMU's defense.
So over in this one between the Cowboys and the Mustangs, and a lean to Oklahoma State, maybe even taking that 9.5 here. Let's go San Francisco, 4.5 against Loyola Chicago. Total 142.5. No, I'm sorry, it's higher than that. It's 145.5 or 145 here at the South Point. Anything in this one?
Yeah, you're going to see these totals get bet up because everybody has watched all these NIT games go over. I made San Francisco 4.5 at home and 142.5. I have no play on the game, and the reason why both teams are better defensively than they are on the offensive end, and neither team runs. They will in this game play a little faster than they normally do. But again, if both defenses are better, it only takes one team to have a bad night shooting for this to go under. So I didn't bet it. I stayed off this one.
Okay, staying off of that one. Let's go to our favorite under team of the year. North Texas is a small favorite here, 4 points over Arkansas State. The total 138. That tells you all you need to know right there compared to these other NIT totals. But we know North Texas wants to slow you down, play at a very, very slow pace here. Any differences for you?
Yeah, they do, but this is the NIT, and it's Arkansas State. Game one, Arkansas State beat St. Louis 103-78 in a game that went up and down. And North Texas beat Furman, a slowdown team, 75-64. North Texas State 11-4 to the over in their home games this year. So they were over at home, under on the road. I think playing at home, they will run. They'll run with Arkansas State, at least for at least a half or 3/4 of the game. I guess if it gets tight late, which it should, the possessions will start to slow down and the defense will start to take over. But by that time, this game could be well over. So I did go over there. I only made North Texas 2 in the game. I would look to take the dog. You'd be betting a team that scored 103 points in their last game against a good St. Louis team. So I like Arkansas State here.
I do like that over a lot, though, too. I'm glad that you did point out that North Texas they were a dead under team on the road, but they are at home here in this one. So over 138 in this NIT game. I'm going to have to jump in on that one. Of course, you like that over and lean to the dog there with Arkansas State. Santa Clara is the favorite here against UAB. UAB's been a good team all year, but they are catching 6.5 and the total 167.5.
Yeah, look to see if they get off to a slow start scoring and then jump in. The number's so high at 168.5. Everything's got to go right for you to get this over. I made it 168. But these are two up-tempo teams that are both better offensively than they are on the defensive end, especially UAB. They can't stop anybody, and they are a great offensive team. Both these teams average over 80 a game. I think they both could get 80, and maybe one of them gets 90 to get you over the total, but I think you're better off waiting to see if they get off to that slow start. That doesn't always happen, but it could here.
Yeah, and if it does not happen, then you just pass on that game. There's plenty of games going on and plenty of action that you can have throughout this day. Now, this is a total that we are staying off of. Stanford is a 7-point favorite against Kent State, and the total is 141.5. This is one that we suggest not betting the over in.
Yeah, I stayed off Kent State over the first round, and they went under easily because of that defense. They play really good defense. And they slow games down. Stanford plays very slow. Both have trended under for the season. Kent State 20-12 under. Stanford 18-15 under. Both teams went under in their. Stanford went over. I went over. I hit the over when they played Northridge, but the game went under the closing total because it went up so high. But Kent State 75-56 win over St. Boddington, 131. My total's lower, 135.5. I added extra points. I added extra tempo or extra possessions, and it still only came up 135.5. So I haven't bet it yet because I know the market's going to go over. I'm going to wait on this game and hopefully get under 143 when they tip off.
Kent State 11-3 to the under on the road this year. And I'm looking at your sheet using this for the NIT games here, and it is all red, which if anybody wants to see the sheet, KennyWhiteSports.com, you can jump in with the power ratings. But I mean, really, between these two, with red being unders, it's all red here.
Yeah. Slow and below average offenses. So yeah, that makes for a recipe for a lower scoring game. But again, I'd wait on it because the market's been betting all NIT games over. They don't care who's playing. They're just going to bet it over. And they bet Kent State over the first time. I think it went from 131 to 137. It went up 7 points. And again, that first one went under the total, 75-56.
Curious to see who is the actual favorite right now to win this NIT, but I'm thinking this might be one of the teams. UC Irvine 7.5 against Jacksonville State, total 140.5.
Yeah, I don't think they're one of the favorites to win it all. I'm gonna make Santa Clara the favorite, with SMU the second favorite to win it. Santa Clara and then SMU.
Yeah, SMU.
That should be the finals of the NIT. They're the two best teams in this tournament. UC Irvine is very good. Man, this is a tough travel. I didn't think about it for Jacksonville State, all the way from Alabama to Cal Irvine, and the Southern California weather. It's going to be beautiful all day. These guys are going to be amazed where they're at, and they may lose concentration on what they're doing. I made Irvine 6.5, the total 142. Both teams play slow, especially Jacksonville State. Now they're well coached. I gotta win with Jacksonville State over Georgia Tech, because I told everybody this coach for Jacksonville State, Ray Harper, is a very good basketball coach. Both these coaches have done well this year. They're combined 42 and 21 ATS, 67% they combined to cover point spreads. So we'll see. Cal Irvine's defense is great, and they are used to playing at a slow pace. They can play at that pace. But my side total right there, Alex, I made Irvine 6.5, 142.
Okay, we are going to the CBI now. 4 games today, one of them happening right now, 38-38 between Incarnate Word and Manhattan. 3:51 left to go in the first half between those two. So let's go to Illinois State and Presbyterian. Illinois State's 4.5-point favorite, and the total is 142. Now, this is a neutral, if I'm not mistaken, unlike the NIT.
Yes, this is a neutral. All these games are being played in Daytona Beach, Florida. I went over in that first game. We talked about that when we first came on the show, and I think I have a good score going the last time I saw. 38-38 with 4 minutes to go. They're just scoring. The in-game total is 20 points higher than the regular total. So again, offense is king in these tournaments. I may look to bet these other games over now that I see all of this scoring in a 9 a.m. It's a noon game for these college kids. So what are we looking at? Illinois State and Presbyterian.
It's 142.
They both play slow. Oh, wait a minute. That's a mistake on my sheet. I did a copy and paste. When I first put my sheet together, I put Illinois State on the bottom because I knew they were the better team. I always put the better team on the bottom, but for some reason, the schedule makers decided to put Illinois State on top. So I do have an error on my sheet. It looks like I have Presbyterian's coach and pace together. Let me take a look real quick at my book here and find out what Illinois State plays. They're a slow down team too, Illinois State. Maybe that's Illinois State stuff. It is Illinois State stuff. It is all Illinois State stuff on the sheet. Presbyterian, they play slow as well. So two slow teams, both want to control the tempo. But again, coaches take the reins off in these type of tournaments, and Illinois State is far better offensively than they are in the defensive end. They're 20th most efficient field goal percentage team in the country. They shoot the threes really well. They make their free throws. They do everything right on offense. The other side, Presbyterian, 63rd best three-point shooting team in America. I think this is going to be a fun game. There's no pressure on these kids in these games. They just go out and play. It's like schoolyard basketball. So I've already gone over in this game. I made it 146.
Illinois State's a very good three-point shooting team as well. And
they're great. Both of them shoot threes really well. I'm looking to see what this total is. It's still at 142. I think there's still really good value at 142 to go over in this game.
Over in that one. It is interesting, too, because both of them do like to press a little bit on the defensive side, take their time offensively, but then the opposite's going to kind of try to push the pace there. Two more games in this tournament here, Elon and Army. Elon is the favorite in this one, and the total is 147. We've got 5.5 spread now here at the South Point.
Let me make one quick bet. That's who, Elon and Army you're talking about?
Yep, next we're moving to Elon and Army.
Okay. I made this one Elon 9 and 148. So I do lean to Elon. The only problem is these military academies travel so well and they are so disciplined that they're not wired to have fun. So they are going to be more on a business trip, and their defense may show up in this game a little bit. So I'm not going to bet the side or the total. I'm just going to pass and keep track of that one. But that's, it's a little different factor when you're dealing with the military. They're, like I said, they're not, this isn't time off. We're going here to prove we're good. And I think they'll play hard, and they could keep this game at a lower scoring game.
We have one more game to get to. Florida trying to pull away here. They are 24-20 with 4:30 left to go in that first half. But our last game, Queens and Northern Arizona. Queens is 1.5, and the total 152. Looks like that is moving up as well. Opened 150.5.
Yeah, I have Queens 2.5 and 150.5. This is two coaches I don't know a lot about. That's for sure. Boy, Shane Burkhart's been there 6 years now in Northern Arizona, and I don't know a lot about him off the top of my head. I have to go to my book. Both teams are better offensively than they are in the defensive end, and Queens likes to play up tempo, and they like to pressure defensively. That could create a lot of scoring. My number being right there, maybe I'll wait and see if it gets off to a little bit of a slow start and then bet it over in game.
That's it for our college basketball games for today. I do want to take a quick break so we can get our boards ready here. So don't go anywhere. When we get back, we will have our whiteboard best plays of the day.
We have 11 amazing restaurants featuring a wide variety for every price range and appetite. South Point's Garden Buffet has something for everyone at unbeatable prices. Or, if hunger strikes in the middle of the night, join us at Coronado Cafe. The American menu offers breakfast, lunch, or dinner 24 hours a day, plus a Chinese kitchen for authentic Chinese dishes from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. From steak and eggs to wonton soup, it's fast and friendly service 24/7. When you need a quick pick-me-up, you can find it at our state-of-the-art Starbucks just inside the main South Point entrance. Order ahead with the Starbucks app for easy mobile order pickups. Or enjoy your favorites in the relaxing dining area anytime, day or night. If you love Mexican food, Baja Miguel's has all of your south of the border favorites. There are dozens of classics to choose from, like fajitas, ceviche, chimichangas, tacos, and more. And for spirit lovers, Baja's colorful non-smoking tequila bar is right outside. Or maybe you're in the mood for seafood. Big Sur Oyster Bar has fresh seafood prepared right before your eyes. Savor freshly shucked oysters, crab legs jambalaya, shrimp and lobster. Beers on tap and a selection of fine wines are perfect to pair with your seafood favorite. Whether lunch or dinner, you'll love this fun atmosphere, located just off the casino floor. Ready to shake things up? Step back in time and treat yourself to one of the oldest restaurant chains in the country. Steak and Shake, famous for original mouth-watering steak burgers and hand-dipped milkshakes in a variety of flavors. For some old-fashioned fun, try Steak and Shake. South Point Casino has plenty of attractions for the whole family. Catch a movie. Our 16-screen movie theater includes 2 XD Extreme screens for the ultimate in viewing, sound, and luxury. After the show, treat the family to a variety of treats at our old-fashioned ice cream parlor, Kate's Corner. We scoop up a variety of creamy concoctions, including smoothies, hand-dipped cones, milkshakes, malts, sodas, and sundaes. At Kate's, there's something for everyone. And if you've still got time to spare, our bowling center might be right up your alley. Voted Best of Las Vegas, it's a great place for friends and family fun. 64 lanes, a pro shop, snack bar, and arcade. And while the kids are bowling, you can play slots and sip on a drink in the Alley Cat Lounge while overlooking the lanes. For our more serious and professional bowlers, the South Point is also home to a separate tournament bowling plaza.
Here we go. Welcome back, everybody. It is time for our whiteboard plays, as you saw right there with the animation. Checking in with the chat, though. Question for you, Dad. Have you checked out the WBIT at all?
No, no one booked it.
Okay.
No, I didn't see any lines put up in the WBIT or the WNIT.
Any women back?
So a shame they didn't. Because most books did a decent job putting up numbers in the women's, and I think because they had it up all year long. So I was hoping they would. Put those. There was a lot of really good games in the WBIT. It's going to be a good tournament, but there's no betting. I haven't found anywhere that there's betting on it.
And the women's tournament, of course, has been very chalky, as we are used to. With women's college basketball there, because the gap is pretty big there. Nothing for you today, though, in that?
In the women's?
Yeah.
I have 3 on my whiteboard.
Okay, very good. Okay, well, let's get to that. While you're getting your whiteboard set up, I am checking in with the poll here. It looks like Oregon is the winner for the upset today over Arizona. 71% picked Oregon at plus 145. 14% picked Ole Miss. Of course, Iowa State, a little bit vulnerable there without Gilbert. St. Mary's got 7% and Colorado State 7%. We did not have New Mexico on the board, which they actually pulled off the upset as an underdog. 4-point underdog against Marquette. I loved that spot for New Mexico. So checking in with our whiteboard. I'll go first. I had a pretty good weekend the last few days. 5-3 if you aren't counting my UCLA money line. So 5-4 if throwing that up there. But that was more of a small dart that I threw in there, and that was more. Actually, that was actually UCLA money line when they were a 5-point favorite. I tried again yesterday with UCLA over Tennessee. But now going with my plays for today. Starting off, I've got 2 in the NCAA tournament. Alabama, 5.5 over St. Mary's. I just think that they are too much. I have 1 under Ole Miss and Iowa State. I think Iowa State has to lean in on their defense here to stop the Rebels. I've got 2 overs, Arkansas State and North Texas over 138. I've got Illinois State and Presbyterian over 141.5. And then I just threw this on here so you guys don't forget. In game, New Mexico, Michigan State. We're looking for a better number here and going under 155. All right, turning our attention to Kenny White here and his plays. Alabama as well at minus 5.5. Sorry, you can go ahead and jump in here.
That's fine. Oregon plus 3.5. And the Dukies minus the 12.5 playing at home, basically in Durham. Women's basketball, 3 plays. Notre Dame minus 14.5. Baylor minus 2 at home, and Ohio State plus 1.5 at home. That's going to be a fun game to watch. Women's college basketball, Tennessee and Ohio State. The total is 162.5, and I think it could go over that. Both teams run like crazy, and Ohio State has some amazing athletes that really are quick. This is going to be a fun game, but I think Ohio State wins this one at home straight up.
I love it. All sides there for Kenny White, couple in men's and couple in women's. And then, of course, remember, I did take these 2 overs from his numbers with the NIT. So let's have ourselves a winning day. Thank you, everybody, for joining us for this full hour.
Hey,
Yes?
So the game in progress, Connecticut's playing Florida. And if I said Connecticut is shooting 31% from the field and 3 for 17 from three-point range, 17.6%. How many points would they be down to the Florida Gators at this point?
12 to 15.
Yeah, and they're down 1. Down 1. They have played extremely bad basketball, and they're only down 1. Connecticut could win this game by double digits.
Wow.
They start to shoot.
So are you going to look for in-game to take points? You're already jumped in on an over here. So maybe that just helps
I'm already
your over.
on the over.
Yeah.
I like the over. They only got to it's 57 right now. It's not a high scoring first half. I'll probably go over again though for the second half. I think Connecticut will shoot. They haven't shot the ball at all. Well, they start to shoot the ball well. Forget about it. This game goes flying over. And I think the Huskies got a shot to win it straight up and knock out a number 1, which would help a lot of people that are in survivor pools.
Yeah, as long as they did not
They
pick
don't
Florida.
have that team.
Yes, but you're right. Just like we saw yesterday with St. John's, hopefully people did not have them as their survivor. Again, everybody, thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate you jumping in on the chat. Hope we have a nice winning day here. We'll be back tomorrow, 10 a.m., and both of us will be here at the desk for Sports by the Book. Have a great day. Cash some tickets. We'll see you tomorrow here at the South Point Studio.